Alrighty.
Indeed.
Indeed on hand here. So, pretty much, I also gotta make sure to get my notes and everything ready to go here. What up? Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 66 of Shoot the Breeze, a chill interview and a chill time around for you and me. I'm your host, HeavyDivider, and alongside me here is, well, pretty much, he's quite the memer. Quite the memer, and also quite the creative memer, if I do say so myself, for the amount of stuff that he could do, as well as just, like, being good at graphic design, modeling, editing, and a little bit of other stuff here and there for the most part. Pretty much a jack of all trades here. So, my guest for tonight here is one and only FoxGod. Welcome on in, bud.
Hey,
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So, for my first question on hand is, how the hell did we meet?
I'm pretty sure that was, like, way back when I was still using, like, the Midnight model from My Hero.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was back when, like, 2018, probably early, like, late 2017.
I believe it was during that time too, and also how I met you was, this was during the time when Betadesh was streaming at the time or so, because it was actually in this world here. Funny enough, actually in this world that we met. And and if I remember correctly too, it was actually at the start when you were doing your whole Guy Fury like models and everything in general, where you were just beginning to dive into it on hand. And yeah, it's actually funny enough how, you know, it just time flies by on hand, you know, evolution and whatnot, and, you know, move on to the next thing on hand here.
It really does.
And funny enough, you have actually grown from that time on hand, because funny enough, besides you meeting you here in like VRC or so, I actually know for a fact that you used to be an editor for Bonfire. First compilation on hand that involved Cacturo basically singing Soul Sister.
Yeah, Cactorio hit really, really close with that tone that apparently it was enough to DMCA it. So.
Oh, really? Whoops.
Yeah.
Damn. Was not even aware. That was actually brilliant on hand, just to be able to do that.
So, to anyone wondering where that video is gone or anything like that, because I've gotten a bunch of people message me and asking me throughout the, like, couple months and stuff, ever since it disappeared off YouTube, it's gone. It got DMCA'd, and so he just took it off, and I'm like, I have no control over that.
No, I got you on hand. So, let me go ahead and get down to your VR chat origins. What got you into VR chat?
I had heard about the game, like, before 2017, like, I had heard about it, like, throughout the summer and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, that's neat and stuff, but you, like, need VR to play it, and no one told me that you could play it in desktop and stuff, and then I seen videos of people playing it in desktop in December, and I was like, you know what? Let's hop on, let's try it, let's go see what's going on in there. And so, for, like, my first week I hopped in, and not a lot of people actually know this, but like for the first week I was in the game, I didn't speak. I was actually a mute for the first week in the game. I just ran around. My first avatar in the game was I think it was a hot dog or something from Big Al's for a bit, and then after running around for a bit, I was like, no, I can't do this. I need my own avatar. And so within probably about 2 hours of playing the game, because I didn't have VR or any other way to express myself, I was like, let's make some avatars. And within my first 2 or 3 days, I had a really scuffed, like, Pura model from Ruby. And then I had a really, really scuffed, an Iowa from Cankole.
Oh, okay.
If anyone knows that one. I actually still have that one on my account, but it's still broke.
No, I got you. Got you on hand. So, from there or so on hand, that's when kind of like you were diving a little bit into like model making and everything in general, just kind of like experimenting of what you can do that nobody else has tried for the most part?
Pretty much when I first got into the game, I didn't really know what to do other than like model make to really express myself in the game, because I was desktop. I legit didn't have any other way to do anything other than, you know what, I'll make funny models. So I started making some weird models and stuff for Hank Hill KMS when he streamed the game and stuff like that. And I ended up, making a bunch of, like, I made the original Guy Fieri because someone bet me that I couldn't find one. And so I found it and got it into VR chat, like, at 3 or 4 a.m. And then from there, I just started making really dumb edits with it, just swapping the head onto things, or completely modifying it and destroying it, or turning it into something complete just abomination.
Just pretty much whatever your creative mind can go to on hand. Just see exactly what kind of reaction you'd be working with. So
it was essentially let's let the sleep paralysis demon take over and see what they make.
Yep.
It's essentially where we went with that.
Yep, and pretty much it went anywhere it could possibly go on hand. So
it really did.
So let me ask about your hobbies on hand besides the game. Now, I had to think long and hard a little bit because I know I mentioned modeling on hand. I know for a fact you are a artist on hand. You were able to used to make graphics designs here and there or so. I was thinking also too outside of VRC. I think off the top of my head, that was like the first thing I remember on hand is like you playing Teamfight Tactics on hand. This was like a long time ago, by the way. And now doing a little bit of Destiny and everything. But past that, or just like a little bit in between, what do you mostly do for hobbies?
I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff I do, like when I do modeling and stuff, like that is kind of like my hobby along with the video editing and all that. It's like, I enjoy it, but it's stuff like I do also use to make content, but it's because I enjoy it that I do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of my hobby for that reason, but on top of that, I very much look into a lot of like 3D 3D printing stuff, that kind of stuff. I very much have an interest in that. At some point, I'd like to probably get one if I could, maybe just like a simple one, figure it out, learn from there, see if I want to go even farther into it or not. But on top of that, it's like cars, like I build, rip apart cars and stuff like that. I know how to do that. It's a lot of fun for me to just be able to take something apart. My brain works in very much a way to where you give me like, say, a model or something.
Mm-hmm.
See, if I look at someone's model in VRC, or if I look at a car, my brain looks at it and starts exploding the whole device piece by piece, breaking it down into the smaller parts and all the like screws and bolts and stuff.
Okay.
And it's really bad because my parents always gave me a lot of crap when I was growing up because I would always take apart everything they gave me. Mm-hmm. And the day they put a stop to it is when I pulled apart a PSP.
Oh.
2 hours after they bought it.
I see. No, I got you.
I had completely unscrewed and opened it up and taken it apart.
So it's pretty much like the Humpty Dumpty effect, where basically you just want to know how everything component-wise works, and then just trying to see how they assemble it for the most part, and how it works here and there.
Yeah. And it's weird because I've always had this way of I can pull things apart, and then like I can just be looking at all the stuff sitting out, and I somehow can put it back together without knowing how it went in the first place. I'm very much, when it comes to especially mechanical stuff, I'm very much someone that like I can just repiece stuff back together as long as I can tell all the components are there.
I got you. It's very repairman-like if you think about it, just to be able to do that and just put it back together and all such. Just like it's a very good handy skill.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's like there have been times where I've pulled stuff apart just to see how it works and then completely forgot to put it back together. So there are problems where I have times like that. So I've done that to a transmission before and then realized I have stuff to do the next day. So not the best thing.
I mean, put it this way, you're able to kind of work it in where you know how to stop yourself a little bit, especially when you do something and then just kind of like stop your mindset to realize what the other tasks you got on hand you got to do here and there. Because sometimes people will just be like very like strong focus on what they're working on and just kind of like forget time itself. So
that's me with a model if I get very focused on it, because I'll tell you even like doing this one when I was just updating like everything and bringing this one into here.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where once I get focused on something, I'll just be sitting there clacking away, and then just like, what time is it? Oh, it's 4 a.m.
Well,
there goes the sleep pattern for the rest of the week.
That's the creative process for you. I had that feeling, especially when I edit videos or just like focus on stuff. I know the feeling. I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
So, what was... Now, before VRC and all this in general, I was going to ask, what was the game that basically got you into gaming in general for the most part? Like, your introduction to it?
Trying to think back, because I had like in television and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to remember which one came first for me. because I remember it was stuff that my mom and dad actually ended up buying when they were young because they thought it was cool. Because my mom was someone who went to the arcade to play like the Pac-Man and like the friggin' Galaga on the like actual cabinets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, the instant they were able to have consoles and stuff, they just got them. So I had like Intellivision, the original Sega, like the Super Nintendo that had the like light bazooka or whatever in that, and the light guns.
I got you.
That kind of stuff. I think probably Duck Gun was it because like Duck Hunt, not Duck Gun.
Yeah, Duck Hunt. No, you're
Duck
good.
Hunt with the light hunt. Duck Hunt with the light gun. Because I remember playing that with my parents when I was younger because they would always just like because I was really young when I got into that, but they would always like encourage me to like yo get that and stuff like that. Like they always thought it was cool.
No, I got you. Yeah, I feel you. Like, I actually remember playing Duck Hunt, and just, like, it was like that 3-pack on hand where you had, like, you had your Super Mario, you had your Duck Hunt, and then you had, like, one extra game that goes with it. I don't know if it was track and field or something.
It was usually track and field or that motocross game. Because it was like Excite Bike or something.
Yeah, Excite
like
Bike,
that.
that's what it was.
Or something like that.
I got you.
Yeah, something like that.
I got you on hand. I mean, hey, it's a good start on hand, especially during that time before it started to take off to, like, bigger and bigger heights on hand. So, let me ask you about the VR chat scene here. Now, in the current present of where we are right now, what is your immediate thoughts about VR chat in general?
As in, like, just how it stands currently?
How it stands currently. Like, status-wise, how it stands currently, and whatever kind of climax, climate we're in.
I feel as if it's definitely not what it used to be. Like, that's just the way anything goes. Everything's gonna go through its seasons of change, its states. Every game goes through that. Life goes through that. Nothing ever stays the same. So it's one of those things where all the people that are like, oh, it's VR chat's not like it was in 2018 or 2019. It's like, I'm not that kind of person. It's like, sure I miss how close a lot of the communities and stuff were back then, because it wasn't nearly as clicky as it was now, because that's basically what it moved to, because things got to became malicious and stuff throughout 2019, 2020, that kind of stuff, and so people started like going into their smaller groups, into their more private settings and stuff like that. Nowadays, I don't think we're in sort of a terrible spot. It definitely, like, there are things that could use improvement or stuff like that, but it's like, I'm not really someone to speak on it because I'm not in this game all that often. I'm in here, like, maybe once a week or maybe twice a week, if that. So it's one of those things. I feel like the game's fine if you don't make this game your life. A lot of people seem to have the issue with they take the game too seriously, or they just get themselves completely addicted to it or sucked into it, and it completely changes their personality. And once they get out of the game for a while and they start doing things throughout life and stuff, they realize, like, holy shit, like, what have I been doing? I've seen it with a few people. I know there are a few people that are experienced that. I'm not saying it's good, bad, anything like that. It's just it's happened.
Yeah, I
don't think VR chat's in a bad place. It's very much right now a club scene. It's very much drinking scene, sort of that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna get your darker side of that, some not so good stuff, but it's like anything when it comes to like a social game, especially something like this, where you can see people interacting with them and talk with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially when alcohol and things are involved, because almost everyone in this game, myself included, I won't even deny that I'm a stickler for this, but almost everyone in this game, half the time they're in here, is either drinking or high, and it just seems to be the regular. It just comes with the club sort of side scene. You see a lot of it, but you do get your good sides where you do see like the RP side, which they're very clean, like very, very good, nice people. I don't have any issues with the people over there. I think they're all good. They all do their own separate things, their own rights. Sure, there have been some issues and stuff with certain people and stuff like that, but that doesn't ruin the whole bunch.
Yeah. No,
Each person is their own person, that sort of thing like that. But when it comes to VR chat, you got like your major club scene, your like dancing scene, the meme, I want to say the meme scene's kinda here still. I don't know if the memer scene's nearly as big as it was back in like 2018, back when people were still doing like massive animations and stuff like that. Like if anyone remembers the Greylith Halo animation.
I remember.
Where freaking he just chucks the jackal through the ship or whatever.
I remember on hand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like you got that. It's still alive a little bit. You got mostly people just make it funny into their avatars and stuff, kind of like what I've been doing. Basically, you just sort of don't do crazy amount of particles and stuff. You just sort of mostly, if you're gonna make a joke or have fun with it, you do it just like within your models, meshes, or materials or textures.
Yeah. Sometimes you might just do like an inside joke that's with just your friends in general, and they're the ones who kind of like get the laugh or so. It's kind of like a little bit enclosed with your friends mostly, and not like outwards on hand, unless it's kind of like trying to show it to like maybe unless you're trying to show it to like bigger creators on hand or so, just so they can experience it. So, but
yeah, you got it.
But I will say too, for the most part, especially with like VRC in general, it started out like a little branch, but it kind of like branches off into its many different categories of wherever it goes or so.
Exactly.
With time.
Because I'll be real, like there's so much to it. Like you can ask me where do I feel about VRC in its current place, but like as I said, like I'm only in here in a bit, and there's like a whole forest to explore in this game, and I've only hung out in, you know, like a couple tree houses and stuff like that in the forest. So like there's so much more out there. Like I've talked about, you know, the RP, the dancing, the clubs, the memes. There's a whole language side of the communities and stuff like that. There are good, like there are some really good things that do go on in this game, but there are definitely a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
Just the nature of the way life works.
Yeah, pretty much on hand, because there's no such thing as like a very, very pure kind of like platform. So
exactly. So I don't think it's, to answer that question just bluntly, I don't think it's in the greatest place right now, but I don't think it's in a terrible place.
No, that's understandable.
It's got its problems, but it's definitely not terrible.
No, I understand fully. So let me ask about the meme side of VR chat. Now, we talked about a little bit of it, touched upon it, but during that time of 2018 or so, this is where it began to kind of like blossomed a little bit on hand meme-wise or so. Like, I want to say early 2018, because I was able there to witness it with the power of Greylith. I was able to see, like, the interesting ways of how you can break a platform like this down to be able to do some interesting stuff for the most part. And, I was going to ask, on your side or so, like say the memeing side or so, what was it like on hand? Like your full experience with it?
Well, for me, like I knew a lot of the people that did some of the crazier stuff in the game, so I could see some of the stuff like beforehand before people would bring it in game. So there were things I did see, and I'm just like, ooh, that's gonna hurt someone's eyes or something like that. But it's like, you can't really stop people from doing what they're gonna do. If you tell someone, hey, like you probably shouldn't do that, you're just either gonna cause a problem with it, or they're just gonna ignore you and go with it anyway. And so it's like, the meme side, I thoroughly enjoyed the time, because there was a lot of creativity, a lot of really cool, unique things that got birthed out of that time that ended up further down the line, ended up becoming features or things that ended up getting added to the game down the line. Like the whole chair system, allowing avatars to have chairs and stuff, that was a bug originally. VRC devs did not originally allow avatars to have seats on them or anything like that. And then because avatar creators found the bug out, they started doing it like crazy, making all sorts of cool things like mechs and stuff where people could sit inside the chests or on the arms and stuff. And VRC devs are like, take it away. And so they took it away for a while, and then about a few months later it came back when they decided to add it as an actual like avatar preference. And it's like, so there were good things that did come out of that whole time where people were like creating like these crazy animation stuff, because like you had that come out of it, and there were people who sure they went overboard with their animations and stuff like that, and they were like giant particle monsters or like giant animations that would frame drop a whole lobby.
Yeah.
But like things that came out of that were like safety mode and like the ability to hide avatars without blocking the person or to just mute the person.
Yeah, increase security
Like,
and everything. Because there's been, I can tell you on hand, I can think of 2 people that basically tested, like they were on the meme side of it, but they tested it just to see if VRC understands that this is a few things. One person being copycat, the other person being Selner. And just be able to kind of like test it, how it works and everything, and just patch it, but do it where it doesn't break your entire game, you know? Or the social groups.
Let's put it this way. VR chat devs, yeah, they've done some things that aren't the greatest. Yeah, they haven't, like, there have been some updates that have been and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not someone who's gonna rip apart the game because there's been a bad update or two. I'll meme on it, joke about it, just like anyone else. But do I mean it? Do I seriously think like, screw the devs, the game's broken, every update fucks everything up. Give me back SDK 2.0. I don't want to change. It's like,
yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like time changes. Life changes. Your avatars that are 2.0 and stuff like that, like the devs and stuff, like they've been pretty clear about things. It's just people refuse to read. Like that's my thing when it comes to a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like with the whole like meme side of things, sorry, I got a little bit derailed.
No, you're all good.
With the whole meme
You're
side
good.
of things and stuff like that, like there was a lot of creativity that came out of that side, but it got really shut down after they did add the whole safety settings thing. Because when they initially added it, they didn't have it as sort of lenient as it is now. It was basically it's on or off. There was no other option.
No.
And so, yeah.
No, I feel you.
It ended up driving a lot of creators away from the game, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially...
And a lot of creators, too, that had gotten used to the old SDK just didn't want to start learning the new stuff, so...
No, I feel you. Especially, what was it, like the earlier times on hand where basically the particles were slowly but surely coming in, except it was now trying to make it where they can optimize the particles of whatever meme it is or so, or special effect of what they're doing, that kind of like drove that, the wedge, if you will, to being draw for it. I believe.
Yeah, because the reason the line in the sand got drawn is basically because people started making meme avatars that were just dumping like crazy amounts of particles to crash people and stuff like that, or send them back, or just close out their game and stuff like that. It's just a lot of dumb stuff like that.
I got you.
Like, nothing like super malicious or anything. Like, you heard like all these things back in the day of all these people like, oh, don't get on, these people are gonna DDoS the servers, or oh, people are gonna be going on ripping avatars. It's like, no. People would just do that to hype everything up and get people scared so they wouldn't log on.
Yeah.
Like, it...
No, I got you.
It is what it is, but...
Yeah, that's how it is.
No, there was a lot of good. There was a lot of good that came out of it, but there was also it was very much a double-edged sword. The meme community back then, because you did have your side of it that was very, very, you know, they knew what they were doing. They made everything like pretty decently optimized and stuff like that. Like Greylith and most of them, almost all their stuff was fairly optimized and stuff like that, and really well done. Like there was very, very little when it came to that side of like the meming community that had like anything poorly optimized or anything like that. And then there were the side of the people that come in with like 16 guns on their back, the like freaking announcement sound when they come in, the animation that plays, like screen bending, blurring, blasting and stuff, crash guns on their avatars,
blasting music and all that
and stuff like that. Yeah. Basically just monstrous avatars that were just like...
Yeah. No, I got you. And so, let me ask about the party scene on VR Chat. Now, I know, off the top of my head, I know for a fact you've been to 3 certain kind of parties on hand. One being, like, when it originally was around being the Neko Nights one. I have caught you. I have kind of like when I get a chance, I briefly would see you in like 12D beats at that time, which is like the newest thing at the moment. And I believe, what was the other one? Because off the top of my head, I think it was. I thought about this earlier on, but now I can't seem to remember. So we might have to scratch that one off. But I will say, what is the party scene like in VRC on your side for the most part? Like, because I know everybody's got like this different kind of code, different kind of like ways that they drink for the most part, as well as just like this different kind of like vibe on hand on how they like do things.
Well, I mean, personally for me, when it comes like to hanging out and stuff on the weekend, I try to just hop around, hang out with whatever. I try not to like pin myself down in one spot. Like Saturdays, every now and then I'll dance and stuff at a club or stuff here and there, but like that's about that. But like, other than that, it's sort of like, yeah, I'll stop by like I'll either stop by like back when like Neko Nights was a thing, I'd hop by there. Like nowadays, I'll hop by either like Lands or O's. I'll go say hi to either of them. I'll go say hi to like people at 12DB. I'll go say hi to like whoever's on that night, whoever I can get into. Like, usually if people are requesting off me, like, I've got like 3 or 4 people trying to join off me right now, and it's like, I feel bad, but I always send back like a reply of like, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
No, I got you. No, I understand that feeling. No, you're fine. I understand that feeling on hand, especially when I haven't seen somebody in a while or so, and it's just kind of like, well, unfortunately, it's not the night for me to be hang out a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm very much someone when it comes to like online stuff, especially VR stuff online, and like any sort of like issues or whatever people have with each other. I don't care. When I come into this game, I'm someone, whether or not you hate the person standing next to me, or whether or not like you don't like someone I'm friends with, I'm not gonna care if you badmouth them in front of me. I'm not gonna care. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. I'm not gonna care. I will probably tell you to stop if you're badmouthing the person. Like, I'll just be like, hey, can we just keep the negativity down? Like, move on to something more positive. But like, hey, like, I'm not gonna be someone that's gonna be like, you can't talk like that about my friend. Like that. No. Everyone has their own problems with people. Everyone has their own issues. I'm not gonna try to tell someone to like someone that they have an issue with, or to dislike someone that I have an issue with, or something like that. I don't care. Everyone is free to make their own opinions of people and stuff like that. And you'll find a lot of the times in the party scenes, you do get that. I'm not saying any which community, one community whatsoever.
That's fine.
This just happens general across the board in the party scene. You'll get either one party that doesn't like this party, or that party doesn't like that guy, or like, hey, why did this person get into this party, or like, hey, this person shouldn't be here, kick this person out, I don't like this person, why are you friends with that person? We can't be friends because you're friends with that person.
Weird territory. Like, weird territory standards people set up on hand for some reason.
It's absurd. I don't get it. It's like people don't act like human beings in this game. They treat people like property or Pokemon cards. It's like, oh, I can't have this friend in my deck if that friend doesn't like this friend. That's gonna cause an issue. Bye.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll get that a lot in the club scene. It's also one of the reasons why I said VR chat has its problems, but it's also got its good moments. Now, for a positive on the club side, you will get a lot of like really good people all hanging out together, like for hanging out, like the ones that are close and stuff. You can very much tell the groups that like hang out all like with their friends in Discord calls and stuff outside of like VR and stuff like that. Because like you always have the like close groups where they're just hanging out, having fun. They don't care or whatever. They're just here to have fun. Yeah. And those are the best kind of people. The people that just hop into this game. They don't care. They just have fun and don't let any of the other like stuff from like outside life get dragged into here with them. Because if you're dragging your outside problems into here, it's only going to cause more problems for you and the others around you.
Especially when people need like an escape, because you know that's the thing about video games. By its core nature, it's for escape. So.
And that's what a lot of people use this for. They use it as an escape because I'm obviously not a giant tittied fox girl IRL. I have the avatar because it's my character and I like it. I won't even deny it. I like looking down and seeing titties.
That's fair. That's perfectly fair.
And it's like a lot of people, I don't know, with the club scene, a lot of people you'll find a lot of people that just they use the club scene also as an excuse for that escapism as well, by using that as an excuse to just down alcohol, or drug.
Yeah.
I've been at fault of it myself at nights and stuff. I've had nights where I've drank way too much, or I've had way too much of things I shouldn't have.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You'll have the groups that are really nice, calm, like they'll help each other out and stuff like that. Like, even if, okay, on top of that note of where people will drink too much and like they'll fall down, pass out and stuff like that, you will get the people that will actually go down and like help them and like try to be like, hey, take the headset off, go get water, go to bed, that kind of stuff. Like, people aren't gonna keep trying to push someone once they've already
peer pressure.
They've gone down or something like that. It's like you'll get the peer pressure of the like shots and stuff like that in some places, but like if someone is obviously really far gone, most of the time people in like the places I go to aren't gonna push someone past that point. Like the people over at 12dB, like freaking any of the like 12dB, like any of the places I hang out, freaking Slans, like any place.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing names out there. Come to the top.
No, I got you. You're fine.
Yeah, like Void and stuff like that. Most of the places, like, if someone has had too much and it's very apparent, you're gonna have people going around to like make sure they're okay. It's like it does have its goods and it has its bads.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was gonna say it's pretty much just a flip a coin here and there, but for the most part, as long as it has like its core values of why they had this party in the first place on hand, and just know to look out for your fellow colleague on hand, especially for what it is, then pretty much it has that kind of like respect for those around them. So.
Exactly.
So.
And on the term of the flip the coin too, you'll also have the weekends where everyone will be happy, having a great time drinking stuff and that, and then you'll have the other weekends where flip of the coin where just everyone's sad boy drinking hours, and it's just like everyone's just depresso but drunk as shit. It's like. Well. Yeah.
Kind of titifies it.
It's like, I'm sorry, yeah. And when I hop into a game and everyone's just sad, depresso, it's just sort of like, man, I'm trying to just, be happy here, but y'all being energy vampires.
I was gonna say, are you the kind of person that basically, when it comes to, like, knowing anybody on hand, you like to feel out the room of what kind of energy and vibes they have, because that way you can try to match it, just so you can, get used to that kind of person? Yeah.
If I come into a room where everyone's sort of like down and sad with my normal like, hey, fuck you, what the fuck you doing kind of energy, sort of stuff like that, it doesn't really come off that great.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I can come in, kicking the door open, like, sup, how's it going kind of energy, or I can just be like, hey, how's it going? If I come into the room and I see everyone sort of like in a more quiet, chill mood, I'm not gonna come into the room screaming, yelling.
No, that's fair.
Because it just makes me look like an idiot.
No, I got you. And it's like,
sure, it's just like, sure, I don't mind having fun, like playing the idiot and stuff at times. It's fun to, just make people think I'm stupid, but.
No, I understand. I fully understand. So let me ask you this, especially with a little bit of everything we talked about from, your upcoming here, there, especially with video editing, being creative on your side or so. I want to ask you, what is the motivation that keeps you going? For being creative-wise, content creation-wise, for anything you work hard towards? What kind of keeps that motivation going for you?
Right now, I'm in a weird spot where I'm kind of in weird spot because there are things I want to do creative-wise and stuff of that nature, but my computer's sort of struggling, so I'm in this weird thing where, like, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, but I can't. So right now, my current, like, goal and stuff I'm trying to get towards is, like, saving. I gotta clear off a bunch of things, because, I won't go too much into it, but let's just say in 2021, there was, I had some rough issues with a ex-roommate that caused a lot of problemo to me wallet that hurt very much, and is a very much a lasting hurt because they're all the big stupid and big dumbs.
That's fine.
To put things nicely and very much in a PG way, because otherwise I have very different words for them.
No, that's fine. That's perfectly fine on hand. I'm not gonna dive too personally into it on hand. Pretty much on your court.
No worries, it's all good.
Yeah, on your court on hand. So, but I will say, hopefully for the most part on hand, that you're able to get yourself out of that rut and be able to do the things that you enjoy doing, and be able to be, take yourself one step beyond of what you want to do. So.
Yeah, right now my sort of like drive for things is just sort of I wanna make more and create more. So right now my drive to do things is just I'm trying to get what I can to save up for this PC, because unfortunately the PC I'm gonna need is gonna be almost like $3,000 something Canadian.
No, I got you.
And that's because like when I go for PCs, I just get something that's gonna last me for like 7-8 years. I'm not gonna cheap out on my PC and have to start replacing parts within a year and a half.
No, that's fair.
It's just not practical.
No, that's fair. It's a good strategy too. Just to be able to think in the long haul of where you want to be in like 7 to 8 years or so with that PC. So.
Yeah, but it's basically I tend to very much think in forms of, I'm not someone who's good at looking at a very long-term goal and being like, I can work towards that. I'm very much someone, I have to do short-term goals from goal to goal. So if I sort of in my head, I'm very much in a weird way this is gonna sound really dumb.
That's fine. It's all good.
Sound really dumb. My brain works in kind of a way like a battle pass. There's like a goal at the end. I don't know exactly what it is, but every goal is just a furtheration of level in that battle pass.
No, I got you. That's understandable. It's the roadmap for you, for where you want to head to.
Yeah. I guess that's the better way. Yeah, like I don't exactly know what's at the end of it or like what the real goal is. Like I'll be honest, I don't really know where I'm doing. I'm just having fun and just making things because they make me happy. So
yeah, just pretty much living life the way you want to live it, and just basically doing it as your own way. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm basically just trying to figure out what's gonna continue to keep me happy and stuff like that, and what I'm gonna be happy with in my life. And so far, it seems like I really either need to go full bore into like the content creation side of things, or full bore into like just creating things like the 3D model stuff or like the video editing and stuff like that.
No, I got you.
Because it's like I love doing either or, but it's like I need to sort of like, focus on one or the other, because doing both of them is just gonna, it's way too much time.
No, I feel you. Because there's not enough time in this world to be able to do a lot of things on hand, especially, when you have like this vision or like this idea of what you want to do. It's just a matter of like separation of how you can get to it on hand when you got like so much to balance.
Yeah. It's why I feel terrible, like, because, like, I haven't really streamed a whole lot since July and stuff, since I moved into the situation I am now, because I've been focusing on just, unscrewing things and fixing things, and so I haven't actually been in VR a whole lot, and so just the whole process of, like, fixing things and that is just, it's taking longer and that, and it's just, you know how it goes.
Yep, know how it goes on hand. So, I got some different topics on hand here. Now, earlier on, we talked about the VR chat scene on hand, for the most part, like where we are currently wise, but I want to compare a little bit from basically the VR chat current present and its past on hand. Now, when you first started VR chat or so, and to all the way where we are right now with VR chat's like current present in general, what are some of the things you are glad that they have changed over the course period of time to some of the things that you wish was still around a bit on hand?
Give me back the hyperspace loading menu. Give me back my space menu. I miss that menu so much. I miss like looking up and it feeling like I'm just being Master Chief being sucked up into the tractor beam like from Halo or something.
Hmm.
Like it was such a cool feeling, just the freaking it was literally like the jumping to hyperspace in Star Wars. It was cool. I loved it. As for something they could do away with, part of me wants to say replies to requests because no one uses them, but
No, I got you.
I feel like I'm the only one that uses them.
I mean, I use them here and there, just let people know if I'm basically, because I got like the sample on hand of basically what I'm doing here and there. That way I can have it set up and just easily like check mark it, send it to them, and let them know what I'm doing here and there, rather than trying to take long times to type it out. So.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything that I kind of wish they would take out of the game. Most of the stuff they've added in has been pretty decent after it's been tweaked or tuned. There were some things they added at first and kind of broke and screwed up a lot of stuff, but they ended up ultimately fixing it and making it work.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah.
Off the top of my head, I honestly can't think of anything I'd want taken out, except for maybe, where is it? I'm trying to think of the name of it.
I mean, I was gonna say, is there anything you wish they didn't take anything out on hand?
Maybe the user ranking system?
That, I feel like, would be a good idea. Mostly because I don't think anybody nowadays, especially since the new nameplates, I don't think anybody even looks at ranking system anymore.
Well, here's the thing. The ranking system only seems to matter to people when it comes to trying to insult them or causing some sort of issue between people.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how many times have you heard people give someone shit because they're a visitor or something like that?
I've seen a couple of times, if not many.
No.
Yeah.
People are, you either get that or you'll get the people that, like, you get that, and then you get the people who will give the desktop guys, like the deskies and stuff, as people call them, that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause it's like, yeah, not everyone can afford VR. I was a desktop user for, like, almost all of 2017.
No,
and then I got an Oculus, and then I wore that Oculus into the ground.
I remember the photos. Photos of your Oculus,
Thing
like,
made of tape,
yeah, it's so taped up on hand. It was, you wore it to a point where basically only one lens worked, and at one point you accidentally hit it, and it somehow started working again. And then just like it was completely tapped up on like left side, I think, left or right side.
Yeah, I was hanging out with I think it was Iron Jew and Wubby at the time, or it might have been Snow SOS actually. But I was sitting there fiddling with my Oculus or whatever, and that was when the right lens didn't work. And I ended up like having an issue where it was like pinching on my head, and I was like, ow, 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 and I smacked the headset, and the right lens turned on, but it was all in inverted colors.
Ooh.
So my right lens was working, but it was all the wrong colors, but my left lens was fine and all the right colors, so it completely screwed with my vision.
Jesus. It gave you that 3D effect on hand where, you know, you wear 3D glasses, it's like red and blue, and then as soon as you take it off, it's like your eyes are still like red and blue, like seeing a little bit until it readjusts.
Yes, and then the Oculus died.
Damn.
About 2 weeks later because of VR ass.
Jesus. The last thing it sees. Last thing it sees on hand.
That was literally at the exact moment someone swung, or we'll just say someone swung around, and it was the last thing I saw, and the screen went black. It was literally the Dark Souls You Died meme. I loved it. It was great. I was laughing so much. I wasn't even mad the headset died.
Didn't you keep it as a trophy on hand?
So
like, you hung it on your back wall just for the fact of how long that thing lasted.
I did for a bit, and then I ended up being able to, they ended up offering me, like, to replace the full headset. When I found out it was only the cord that was broken, so I was trying to get a replacement cord, so I could still use the Oculus.
Oh.
And instead of giving me a replacement cord, like, legitimately couldn't find a replacement cord in the warehouses because it was after they stopped selling them. And so instead of giving me a cord, they just said, what was the picture of your headset again? I sent them the picture, and the only reply I got was, wow, that's a lot of tape. And then the next message after that was, yeah, after talking to after talking to upper management, we've considered sending you out a replacement headset. And so they ended up sending me out an old, like, one of the original Oculus Rifts, like, to replace the one I had. And when I got it, I ended up buying the Vive that I have now off a friend of mine. And I ended up getting a Vive and full body with, like, wireless and stuff in the process of the time it took my Oculus to be sent there, and for them to send me a new one.
Well, hey, you at least got something to fall back on just in case anything happens, so there's that.
Well, this is what happened. What ended up happening when the Oculus got here, I decided, well, I don't need the Oculus since I got the working Vive and stuff now, and I'm gonna baby the Vive. I'm not gonna, like, put it through hell like I did the Oculus. And so I was like, all right, and I put the Oculus up for sale and sold it within 3 hours of getting it back.
Damn. Well, there you go. Well, there you go on hand, jeez. But, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna benefit from that, so there's that on hand. New headset here and there. But, let me ask you this. Is there anything you're looking forward towards on, what you are going to be doing a little bit from here on out or so? Because I know for a fact that from the things that we've talked about here and there or so, I'm pretty sure you probably got something on your kind of like your roadmap that you're working a little bit towards, or just like anything that come up in a week or so, or anything that you've already got planned.
Well, I'm gonna be I'm doing my dancing this weekend, but I'm wanting to finish up my my Halloween model and possibly do a stream if I can. But we'll see how long that takes me to finish it up. I haven't been able to stream nearly as much because of how busy I've been. But
no, I got you.
that and my schedule, sort of, 2 p.m. in the afternoon to 10:30. Kind of rough to start a stream around this time.
No, that's fair. Especially when you're like doing so much that it makes it hard to kind of like get that schedule in. Like a concrete schedule, so that's understandable.
Definitely.
So, time for a little bit of a curveball question on hand, because it's on the list, but everybody's got a different answer for it. Let's talk about anime. Let's talk about anime here a little quick. So, I got a 3-part question to this. First part is, when I say the word anime, what's the first series that comes to your mind? I can already guess what it is.
Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann, yep. I recognize the drill bit that was on your chain there. I immediately knew that was the first thing that popped in my mind because I remember it. But yeah, Gurren Lagann.
Listen, Gurren Lagann was the first thing anyone. Actually, I can't say it was the first anime it was ever showed to me, because the first anime ever shown to me was by my dad, and he showed me Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, it was funny. I was 12, and he showed me Ghost in the Shell.
Well,
so.
Interesting to start out with.
And then after that, I started looking into more stuff, and I found out he had a bunch of anime on VHS. I watched Armitage, Appleseed, Trigun, and then I found, Gurren Lagann, and that ended up being, like, the one thing I was like, okay, this is, like, yes, I love this. This is just people being angry and beating up each other and screaming and doing cool shit for no reason. And I love it. There's no real plot or story behind this, and I don't care. And it's funny because I found out later on in my life, when I was looking at like people's reviews and stuff of it, that was mainly people's arguments and stuff, that its story wasn't much of anything. It was just people angrily yelling about fighting and stuff and beating each other up. And I'm just like, that was the best part.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just a stupid feel-good anime. There's no reason to look into it that much.
And the emotion you can take from it is actually kind of all-inspiring, too. You know?
That, too, because it's actually just a story about coming of age, basically, and overcoming things.
Yep.
People don't realize how like, there's actually a much deeper meaning to the whole Gurren Lagann story and a lot of the, like, scenes in it.
No, I feel you. I feel you on hand. Especially just for that one scene on hand when they said, let me see those teeth, or so, before they get decked.
Yeah, let me see you grit those teeth, yep.
That's pretty much the symbolic reason behind that, too. You know, coming of age on hand, but also basically be able to take things punch-wise with a smile on your face.
There's another scene that's, like, later on in the series, but it's kind of a spoiler if you haven't watched it, so I won't go too much detail into it.
That's fine.
but I'll just say it's probably my favorite scene in the series because it put like just goosebumps straight up my back and that, and like I loved it. It was essentially, let's just remember when he kicks open someone kicks open a box at the end, and it sort of breaks him out of a certain event that he is stuck in.
I remember
that scene.
I remember
when that and the following where everyone just follows.
Yeah, I remember that.
That one. that whole speech and spiel that he says. Oh, I loved it.
And my second question for that is, if you ever had a top 3 or top 5, like say anime series that would be on your list, which can be a series or a movie for you, and not any order on hand, what would that be?
I'm gonna go Gurren Lagann, Hellsing, Redline. Trying to remember the name of it. It's in. The last time I remember reading it was in Japanese, so I can't remember exactly how to pronounce.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good on hand.
Another one that was in there was Konosuba, and
that's a good one. Good comedy movie. Well, good comedy series.
Konosuba's hilarious. And it's actually gonna be a very, very it's gonna be a very, very left field answer for this one. Violet Evergarden.
Violet Evergarden. I've heard stories about Violet Evergarden, and I know the emotional impact it has.
I'll put it this way. I'm not someone who is like very easily, like when it comes to like TV shows and series that it makes me like tear up or shit like that. Violet Evergarden's one of the few series like I watched that shit and I was like, man, like I was fighting it the whole time.
And it pretty much touched you emotionally.
Series. And it's one of the most beautiful looking series I've ever seen. Oh, frick. I remembered exactly what it was now after I said it. After I said the 5.
No, go ahead if you want to say it.
Saga of Tanya and the Evil.
Saga of Tanya? I haven't heard of that. Might have to have a look at it and see what it is about on hand.
Yeah. It's made by the same people who did Konosuba and Overlord and all that kind of stuff. They're in the Isekai quartet.
Okay. I got you. I'll have to have a look at it when I get a chance. So, the final part of that... Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Okay.
I was just saying, yeah, it's good.
I get you. The final part to that question of anime is, which I believe you've already answered it on hand, but just in case, what is the anime that hits you close to home? Be it series, be it movie. Like, you felt it emotionally, you relate to it on almost a reality-based level.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, off the top of my head, like, because there are certain aspects from a lot of different ones that kind of hit me differently, because I'm someone who, I was an only child for most of my life, so...
I understand that.
Yeah, that and my parents ended up splitting when I was really young, so I really only had myself around because my mom was working, so...
I understand that, too.
It's one of those things where, like, I hate to say it, it sounds kind of cheesy, but the early sort of, like, seasons of Naruto and stuff like that.
Okay. No, that's fair. Especially, like, the...
Just sort of because, like...
Yeah, especially, just to be able to try to fit in, but it's hard to do when you don't really have that... You don't have that guidance on hand.
Especially because I moved a lot, and so I was always, like, the new kid that showed up. And then it's like, if I ended up leaving, it's like, well, I don't know anyone again, so you know how it goes. Yeah,
it becomes a little bit psychological on hand, where it's like, you get to know somebody, but then you move away, and then it's trying to, like, the repeat process on hand, where it's almost like, there's not a point. you know.
It's why even nowadays I have trouble getting actually like really close to people, because my brain's always worried that, like, you know, well, there's the potential I might end up having to leave them in a year or something like that, or something might happen where I can't talk to them or anything. So it's like,
I got you. No, I understand.
yeah.
I understand fully on that. So, this brings me down to my final question here. I'm going to bring this camera over to you. And the question I have on hand is, let me just adjust this over. There we go. Is, what are your goals and dreams? And at best, what is the best advice you can ever offer to anybody? I'll let you have center stage for this.
Goals and dreams, I don't really have anything aside other from, like, just wanting to, like, be happy and make other people happy. That's really about it. Like, I just want to make the day less shitty for everyone else, so to speak. It's why I post memes. It's why I would do all the funny, dumb meme stuff. Like, I figure if someone laughs at it, you know, it's making someone else's day better and stuff like that. And I have fun making it and posting that kind of stuff. So it's like, why not help someone with, like, you know, give them a smile, make them laugh, something like that. Everyone's day can be better like that. When it comes to advice, I'd say just sort of try to just be yourself no matter what happens. Because take it from someone who's not exactly comfortable with being themselves very often, or very much. I'm not someone who I take a long time to get close to anyone or sort of be my true self around people. So my advice would be is try to learn or just be yourself as much as you can. And if you have trouble with it, or someone like me, try to reach out a bit more, little bit by little each day if you can. You know, reach out with a message, stuff like that, to friends and stuff you haven't in a while. Don't do anything too crazy, but don't, like, push yourself too hard. Just go at your own pace and just reach out. You know, the more you talk to people, the more comfortable you get with it.
No, I got you. I got you on hand. And it's a strong, really message on hand, because when it comes down to it, sometimes it's hard to reach. I think it's also a little bit of a fear thing on hand, because it's hard to reach out to people when...
Oh, definitely.
Because you have no idea. You don't know the person from Adam, but you don't know if, you know, a simple comment, you know, if you'd be able to talk to him or anything, or if everything's going all right or such. It's always a good idea to put a hand out there, but it's always it's the fear of basically getting that hand knocked away or so.
Yeah, like, let's put it this way. I myself deal with it on a constant basis. It's back when my Twitter was up to 6,000 before it got smacked for DMCA, but freaking basically every time I tweeted, I still deal with it. It's something I just have to deal with, and I learn to deal with on a daily basis. It's why I sort of have adopted the fuck everything, like, I don't care sort of mentality. But every time I tweet something, there's always stuff in the back of my head that, like, oh, we live in a day and age where just about anything anyone says can be misconstrued or something, or someone's gonna get upset and someone's gonna get canceled for something, or something they like, or something they said 6 or 7 years ago. And it's just like, I have that problem, especially with the way a lot of people are in this game. So that's why I, like, say what I say to that, like, the be yourself, because it's like, it doesn't matter if you're trying to put on a mask for other people, and it's a mask they don't like. It doesn't matter. Your impression with them is already screwed.
Yeah.
Be yourself, because if that impression isn't something someone likes because you think that's what they want to see, it's gonna come off as not genuine. It's why, like, I hate to say it, but there are a lot of people who just sometimes they'll just run up on me out of nowhere or whatever, and it just, the way they interact just does not seem genuine in the slightest, because it seems like they're trying to impress me or something. And it's like, I'm just a person. Just talk to me like anyone else.
Yeah.
Just take a calm, deep breath and just talk to anyone else like they're your friend.
Yeah.
Just chat with them. Yeah, you'll get some people who are sourpusses or assholes, or just like, what the frick are you talking to me for? Or stuff like that. But it's like, not everyone's like that.
Yeah, not everybody.
One bad apple isn't gonna ruin the whole bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's just the aspect of just like taking the first step to be able to try to get to know each other. Like the biggest icebreakers you can ask is like, hello there, or how are you doing, or so. Just like simple things on hand. So.
Yeah, like I give this advice, but I'm kind of a hypocrite here in this statement because I reach out and talk every now and then and stuff like that, but I'm not someone who like is very talkative, especially when I'm not in games and stuff. Like when I'm in game and face to face with people like this, I can talk like forever. It doesn't matter. I can just nonstop talk, or like when I'm on stream. But when I'm not like on stream, like or recording, or like in the games or something hanging out, I'm basically silent. You can ask just about anyone I hang out in Discord with or anything like that.
You're reserved.
I will save something once in a while. I don't say a whole lot because I don't know. My brain works in a way of like, unless someone speaks to me, I don't really reply. Just because I'm like, I don't feel like I need to.
No, I understand. Like you're very reserved on hand when it comes to like whatever you do or so, and it's one of those things where it's just kind of like hard to have like a conversation or just like talk about stuff here and there unless it's like something you can just relate to on hand, or just basically have like one of those creative aspects on hand. Like you could just say something and basically everybody else just kind of like chimes in and basically just kind of like snowball it for you, and then you just get very interested in whatever it is. So
because if it's something like I might know something slightly about, but there's nothing I can really add to it, I'll just sort of like, yeah, that's cool, like that. Sort of something like that. But like if there's nothing I really have to say about anything, I'll just stay silent, and a lot of people take that as me being upset with them or not liking them, and it's never anything like that. It's just the way I am. I have the problem IRL with a serious. I have a very serious resting bitch face, and it always looks like I'm utterly pissed off no matter what I'm doing. And so like I've had moments where I've just been in Walmart sitting there, and like I've had to take my mask off to like check something, and someone looked at me and they see me without the mask for a split second. They just was like, damn, like are you all right? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, you look pissed right off. And I'm like,
no, I got you.
Like, I can't help it. I naturally look angry, and I don't try it.
No, I know the feeling. Especially when, it doesn't help with the fact, too, that if you're, like, really tired on hand for the most part, and you have, like, that certain phase, people just think that you're, like, just like, completely
That's the other problem.
That's the other problem?
I have permanent raccoon eyes. Like, I have the permanent raccoon eyes. Like the bags under my eyes.
The bags
just,
where it's kind of like
rings around the underside of my eyes.
Same. I always thought it was too much iron intake.
No matter what I do.
That was fun.
No matter what I do, they don't go away. So it's like, that always adds to it.
I always thought it was like too much iron intake on hand. That's why it has like so much blackage under your eyes, from what I was told. But I have not found a way to get rid of that, so I know the feeling.
I don't even know. I think it's something you have to like completely change your diet and stuff for, and like you have to completely change your like health routine and stuff, everything.
Yeah, that's probably it there. So,
I don't know exactly what it is.
Before we call the interview on anything, I just want to ask everybody in chat here, do you have any questions for one FoxGod here on hand? If you guys have any questions for him. So, while you guys are coming up with questions on hand, I do have one question, and we're going to go back in history a little bit here, because FoxGod was not your original name on hand when I first met you.
No, it was not.
No, it was not. So,
no, it was not.
So, to explain a little bit and kind of like history-wise or so, originally, once upon a time, you used to be called FapGod on hand. And the thing is, where did that name originally came from on hand before you became FoxGod? Which I know why you were FoxGod now.
It's funny because it's funny because that joke has always been a running theme with me. When it's come to like my online presence, I've always had multiple different versions of something that's had a joke involving Fap or something of that nature. Because I used to have like Master Debater, stuff like that kind of things, like a bunch of names like that back on Xbox and like RuneScape, stuff like that. Like, it was just something I did as a joke, and it just carried on each time. And then eventually it got to a point where I was on Xbox, and I had the name, it was like Fapping Manatee or something of that at the time. And then Xbox somehow banned fapping manatee for racism.
What?
Apparently the name is racist somehow. I don't ask me how.
I don't know either. I'm just shrugging on that one. It's like, what?
Apparently a sound in a sea animal is apparently that.
Okay.
But
Right.
and so I ended up having to change my name there. And so I ended up just being my actual name with some numbers as my freaking gamer tag there because I didn't care. And so that was when I mostly was sticking to more PC stuff because at the time I didn't really care about Xbox because I'd stopped like playing Halo as much and stuff. I was more focusing on PC, and so I started like going on to like more of the stupid like fap jokes or like, you know, beat meat jokes, stuff like that kind of things. Like meat tenderizer names, that kind of stuff. And then I got into I hate to say it because this game is just DOA, dead in the water, completely gone. No one cares about it anymore, but I ended up then getting into Overwatch at the time.
I got you. Yeah, you got your own hand.
And once I got into Overwatch and stuff, they asked me, I had to make a new BattleNet and stuff, and so I gave them my BattleNet because the original BattleNet I had for my World of Warcraft account I ended up selling. And so I made my new one, which was just, it was at the time Fap Lord. As a joke, and I just did that because I didn't know what the name is. I was going through, and one of my friends is like, "Why is it Fap Lord? Why don't you go to something even greater? Ascend, my friend." And I just said, "You know what? You're right." And so I changed it to FapGod. Literally 5 minutes after he said that, and he couldn't stop laughing. And so it stuck for that for the longest time. And it's funny because I ended up finding music that was actually a parody of Eminem's Rap God. It was a parody of Eminem's Rap God, but it was called Fap God, and it just had a whole bunch of like, oh my god! If you want to go look it up, it's a funny listen, but if you've got people that you don't want hearing disturbing things or lewd things, make sure they're not.
Pretty much, it's exactly what you would think what Fap God would mean on hand. So. But
yeah, it's funny. I ended up using it for an outro in a lot of YouTube videos back when I actually did them, and basically from there I just was FapGod into here in VRC once I got sick of Overwatch because they kept changing everything and making the game worse and worse with every update.
I got you.
And then in VRC, I was doing a 12-hour stream actually on Halloween.
Well,
funny
enough, this is
I was
kind of
actually doing I was doing a 12-hour stream on Halloween for what was it? I was just deciding, you know what? I'll do a spooky 12-hour stream. I was gonna do a bunch of horror maps in VR, and then I played like a bunch of horror games. I got into VR, was in the stream for 2 hours. And someone ended up making 40+ accounts on Twitch and just kept false reporting my account.
Really? Damn. Jesus.
And because of how many false reports were submitted, instead of actually checking them or doing anything, the Twitch bot indefinitely banned me without any prior infraction on my account. I was indefinitely banned from Twitch's entire platform. Not just a normal ban of the account. My IP was banned.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had to stop the VRC community at the time from raising up with pitchforks and torches going after Twitch.
Yeah, not only that, or so you also had like change your stats up to say, you know, if you're streaming, don't come near me right now, just because with you being banned on Twitch, if anybody comes near you, or for some reason Twitch has this ability on hand that they can recognize voices as well as see names, that you get banned for it.
Yeah. Twitch has a policy to where in their streamer contract, once you it only applies to if you have an affiliate, or I believe it's only if you have affiliate or partner, but there's something stipulation in there that you cannot interact with suspended streamers from the platform and stuff of that nature. And so if you interact with someone while they're suspended, you run the risk of getting suspended yourself.
Yeah. I remember
And
that.
so yeah, like I ended up being isolated from like most of my friends for like 3 weeks because none of them could stream with me, and I couldn't be around them because they were like streaming and stuff most of the time. And so within that like first 2 weeks, I basically fought with Twitch to the point where they decided, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have IP banned you, and they unbanned me from the IP. And so that got sorted, and I was happy about that. And so I continued to go through the process of like talking with them and stuff, and we went back and forth for like another week or so, and it was going nowhere. And I eventually just had it and hit them with an ultimatum. And then they basically were just like, oh, give us 5 names you want, ranging from your favorite to your least, and we'll give you the first one we can give you. And so they unbanned my account and changed it to what it is now.
To FoxGod. Okay.
Yeah. After I sort of like had it out with them for like 2 to 3 weeks. I don't remember the exact time, how long it was, but
Yeah, it was a while on hand, because I think too at the time, once they IP banned, we'll remove the IP ban or so, you couldn't access that account because it was banned. So you try to start over again, Twitch stream wise.
Oh yeah. I started over on a new account, and that account actually still exists, but it's a different name now. I don't use it for anything, but like, I ended up streaming on a different account, getting like 1,000 followers on it, back up to affiliate, and then was just sat there like, oh, Twitch is giving me my old account back, guys. Like, there's actually a clip on that channel, I believe, of me saying like, oh, Crab Rave, guys, I've got the account back because Twitch messaged me while I was streaming.
Good lord. But yeah, I will say it's been a hell of a ride since then or so, because that and just basically here on out or so.
No, definitely.
I do have one more question I was thinking off the top of my head while I'm still waiting on questions from chat and everything. But one question I was going to ask you is, as a content creator and as a streamer or so, for your whole experience on hand when it comes to this or so, I'm pretty sure you had some interesting experiences when it comes to it, and just basically taking everything lesson-wise or such. But as a content creator and streamer, is there anything that you can share from what you have learned from the time you first started your journey all the way to the current and continuing journey now that you've gotten?
Try not to worry about your numbers when you're live. They always fluctuate depending on the times. Try not to worry about whether your averages go down like too much between the seasons of change, whether like summer and winter and stuff like that, because you're always going to see a dip in a viewership come fall. Seeing as the fact most people go back to school and work and are done like summer vacations and stuff around that time.
Yeah.
So you always see that, and then it'll pick up again around December and such. It'll be picked up a bit until probably about March. It'll stagnate a bit, and then it'll pick up again around like June and stuff like that. So your best bet as a content creator is like, don't worry about the fluctuations of the up and down, the dips of the numbers. That's just how it is. Just keep on the grind. Just keep doing what you have fun with. Don't let the numbers get you down. And when you're live streaming and stuff like that, if you only see like, 1 or 2 viewers in your chat or something like that, or like people aren't talking and stuff like that, it's not super crazy active. Just have fun. You're there to have fun and stream. If people are there to interact, like I get people when I stream that like I have a bunch of people that never chat. They always come. I always see them show up every time. I see the same names every time, and like I know them. I see them there. They're like my lurker squad. I always like wave to them and stuff like that. Like I always say like hello. Like I know they don't respond and stuff like that, but I know they always chime in and just watch and stuff like.
Yeah.
They're just there to listen.
Yeah, just there to listen.
I have no issue with that.
There to listen on hand. I will say...
Just because you feel like no one's there doesn't mean there isn't someone there.
Yeah, actually, if you think about it too, no matter where... funny enough, or so, no matter... Even if you haven't interacted with so many people on hand, for the most part, that are on your friends list, in VRC or so, they know what's going on with what's happening here and there or so, and it's one of those things, even if they don't speak to you a couple of times or so, doesn't mean they're not watching and just basically checking on you in their own ways or so, just saying, like... Oh, I wonder how FoxGod's doing or so, or just, seeing how you are being, your Twitter status, Twitch status, whatever it is or so, or just be able to try to reach out to you or just say hello to you when they can. That's the thing. So
yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh, excuse me.
No, you're all good. Little Wolfie Son has one question for you, asking how much stress did you have to go through trying to balance life and streaming? So.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm usually, right now, I'm like...
Yeah.
It's like 2 p.m. till 10:30 is when I work and stuff like that. And so it's like, I have to worry about, like, I can't really stream in the morning because I'm someone, if I start streaming, and if I'm really into it and I'm having fun, I won't want to stop, or I'll lose track of time, and next thing I know, I'm late for work.
Okay.
So it's either I do that or I stream after work, and that's like 10:30, and it's like I want to sit down for a bit and just do nothing after work for a bit, and so like I'd start stream at like 11, and it's like there's not too many people on around that time, so it's like it's kind of stressful in that situation to where it's like I miss a lot of my regular viewers and stuff like that because I miss the time I normally stream in it.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel bad because it's like I know like my community doesn't owe me anything. I don't owe the community anything like that sort of thing. Like we're mutually like we enjoy each other, like sort of that thing. But it's like I always feel bad because it's like I like to stream and stuff like that. I like to continue providing content, but it's just like I feel like mentally, like after I'm done work, I don't have the capacity to do it most days. So it's just like I feel stressed out because I feel bad because I'm not streaming stuff like that or like providing content. It's why I'm like considering moving to more doing YouTube stuff and that, because I can edit and stuff and I don't have to be on camera or people see me. It's kind of why I switched to doing the VTuber stuff, because I don't have to be on camera as much, and so I don't have to look completely dead on camera.
Yeah, just dead tired and everything.
Face.
And I'll put it this way, even if you're dead tired or you know that you gotta take a day off just from streaming and everything, just know for the fact that the people there, the community you have, are there for you. Like, they care about you, the individual, the well-being of, and they understand fully on hand just because they want to see you at your most happiest on hand, or at your more energetic on hand, for the most part. And trust me, that's a good community to usually have, just because they care about you. Like, it's not the content they care about, it's the individual, the human being.
Yeah.
So, that's a key thing.
No, I feel you. So it's just... Yeah, so basically short form of that answer, just when it comes to how stressful is it, I mean, it's stressful if you try to do too much of it. If you try to limit yourself to like a day or two a week or something like that, or like 2 or 3 days, like you're not gonna be hurting too bad, especially if you keep most of those days to the days you have off. But like if you're trying to stream 5-6 days a week while also working a full-time job, which is gonna either be like 8 or 9 hours usually, give or take however long you drive in and out to, you also gotta figure in I usually do anywhere from like 2 to 3 hour streams. I don't go for crazy long streams anymore. I just don't have the mental capacity to do it. It's just like I get so tired, I'm just like, oh, sorry chat, I'm gonna go be a dum-dum and watch videos of people making houses out of mud. And it's like, you just gotta find a good balance, basically, because if you don't find a good balance, you're gonna stress yourself out over, kind of like I am, to where you're worried about like not providing content for your community and stuff like that. Like, I haven't been able to do a whole lot of what I wanted to do because, as I've said, my computer's been kind of scuffed and stuff. Like, let's put it this way, I tried to stream the Battlefield beta. Well, my computer was maxed out at 100% CPU, and it felt like the sun was igniting in my room.
Like it was heating up so badly because of it? Jesus.
Yeah, I have the window open, and I'm in Canada.
Damn. Okay. Jesus. My God. Well, still, I can only hope for the best and hope that basically you get your computer replaced on hand. Just be able to do what you do here and there.
My goal is to save up for a while and then look around to see what company will give me a decent coupon for promoting them.
Yeah. That's like one of the milestones you want to try to go for on hand here and there, especially since like I've seen like people just basically getting like 20% off or whatever kind of computer company they're getting their new
20%
tower.
off a $3,000 PC. Sign me up.
I believe it's 20 or 15, not sure. I'll have to It's just basically from a few people I've seen have on hand partnership-wise or so, but I don't see...
20% off would actually be a decent chunk.
It would be. And not only that, it would actually just basically it would actually help that creator out to just be able to help other people out as well. So that's key as well. So, but I don't see any more questions on hand for you for the most part, but I will say on hand that will be episode 66 of Shoot the Breeze.